Paddington, one of London's busiest stations. With peak time trains running every 3 minutes and 40 million passengers travelling through every year, it relies on everyone working together and everything working smoothly. From Paddington Control,
a passenger by the name of Sanju. Your mother-in-law is currently on platform 6 and 7.
to train dispatchers,
Just waiting second now, Bram. All good to go. Thank you.
gate line staff,
Going away for the weekend. Yes. Come back. That's it. Have a nice time.
and the transport police on the concourse, all coordinated from route control.
Hello, Senior Controller Swindon Control here.
And as a backup to all this human activity, there are CCTV cameras. Lots of them.
We have currently 403 cameras in this station alone, which is crazy when you think about it. And also, so we have this screen here, which I look at, my user screen, where I can zone into any area of the station. Anything that could possibly happen is up here, and it's all quite exciting.
It's a slow mid-afternoon on a quiet Tuesday.
Platform 1 will be your next one.
But at the ticket barriers, the CCTV cameras pick up the start of an extraordinary incident, which will cause the shutdown of Paddington's train service. A man seems to be chatting to gateline staff when he suddenly ducks under the ticket barriers and makes his way to platform 10. And then, the unexpected happens.
Alpha Centre Base, we have a passenger on the track, platform 9 and 10. Platform 9 and 10, we have a passenger on the tracks running Bristol end. 13 to base, urgent 13 to base.
We've got all trains on stop coming out of Paddington, report of a person running around on the tracks. All on stop, Paddington.
We send CCTV, platform 10 and platform 9 and Bristol end.
Okay, so you've got one officer on site trying to find him, yeah? So person running around on all the lines.
Okay, going to all radio mobile, just to make you all aware, the station is closed. For the moment, there will be no services leaving Paddington due to a trespasser on the tracks just outside the station.
Not good. We've had the Sigler phone up to report that they've received a report from Paddington Station of a male running across all the lines just outside the station area. All trains are on stop, and then BTP have just phoned up to say that they are aware.
Dispatcher Maz Mahmood is giving chase.
So once again, the station is currently closed.
Station controller Richard Douglas hadn't even got to his control room desk.
Just walking in and someone just said, quick, there's a guy running down the tracks. Yeah, you might have heard on the Hamilton City line. Guys running down the tracks right to the end.
I was really out of breath myself. It was hard to catch up with him because he's running so fast. And I was telling him, you need to get off the track, you're going to get killed. So only I had probably like maybe 30 seconds with him, running with him. Then by that time, I run out of platform, and
If you look straight down, that's just down by Royal Oak Tube Station. There's a train that's stopped out there and he's probably a couple of 100 yards in front.
No one yet knows why the man jumped.
Could be him being suicidal, could be a stunt, you don't really know until you've had a word with him and worked things out.
Alongside Platform 1, BTP officers are now trying to catch up with the running man, who's heading into the busy and dangerous approach to Paddington, known as the Throat.
We've got 5 trains actually held outside the station.
And until the tracks are made safe, no one can cross the lines to get to the man.
What we're going to do is BTP are going over there, so they're killing the power. So everything's been stuck on hold.
The trespasser is a mile outside the station. But the police are now hot on his tail.
Sounds like they may have got this guy then.
The mail's detained about half a minute and he'll be on a platform. Yeah.
BTP officer PC Fogg got to him just in time.
We caught him about 50 metres short of Royal Oak Station. He was just short of the live track where he gravitated towards the underground station. Had we not decided to chase him and stop him, I've no doubt that his next few steps he would have touched that live track and we'd have had a very different situation.
The person's in custody, he's been handcuffed.
While the running man is being dealt with, support officer Alex Hode is trying to find out why he jumped on the tracks. And it turns out the man might have been involved in an earlier fare evasion incident at Paddington's underground station.
What happened is when the staff said he needed to buy a ticket, he bent down and just pulled out a mobile phone and a charger out of his bag and just handed it over to my staff. I don't know whether this guy could be the same person.
Do you have a big green backpack on?
Yeah.
It's a strange turn of events, but it could help the investigation.
Staff was outside, the train came in and the guy was trying to leave, but he had already double shuffled through one of the passengers who paid. And then when the staff said, oh, next time you need to buy a ticket, he just bent over and from his rucksack he pulled out this mobile phone charger and he just went off on his way.
They entered into underground staff and then ran off down towards platform 10. That's it? Yeah, matches the exact same description of him.
It's been a worrying incident, but the running man is now safely in the police van.
He's been taken off to custody, I believe, at the moment. He's been arrested. He's off now. Hopefully he'll get the help, whatever he needs.
It's not over yet, though, for station controller Richard Douglas. The incident has lasted 20 minutes and thrown Paddington's timetable into disarray. And it's Richard who's got to get it back on track.
Right, so I've just come back in. I'm starting my shift now. It's a bit crazy now, so we're now going to try and put everything back together. We've had no trains come and go for the last about 20 minutes. What we've got now is we've got platforms full of trains and we need to get them out because we've got loads of trains that are being sat outside between sort of Ladbroke Grove and sort of Hayes and Arlington, right back down to Airport Junction, which is some 10, 15 miles away. So we've now got to try and pick things up, get trains dispatched, get people in the right places so we can start moving things on. We've got a bit of wiggle room because of the time of day it was. Had that been at like 5 o'clock, that would be major problem, major problems. Hopefully, I reckon we should be able to sort it out within 45 minutes.
Britain's railway men and women are constantly having to deal with the unexpected.
You OK, sir? Yeah. You're right. There's a train due in about 2 minutes, and no one's going to notice you if you're so low down, so you might be best stood up.
But today, out on the tracks near Newbury, engineers are getting ready to start works that have been years in the planning. It's the latest stage in an ongoing multi-billion-pound project to electrify all the western route. Senior project manager Kuldeep Sunga is overseeing the works.
This is one of the biggest weeks of the programme of electrification. There's a series of a number of big disruptive blockades of work that we're going to be doing over the course of the summer, ready for the introduction of new trains.
The engineering teams will have just 4 days and 5 nights to complete the overhead cable work along 16 miles of track before the lines have to reopen again. And the countdown clock has started.
Nearly 200 tonnes of steel to be erected and then all the copper wire to be run, which is anything close to about 10 to 12 kilometres per 1,400 metres of electrification.
With tracks closed for the blockade, Paddington's train timetable has had to be altered. And in the control room, Graham Parker is monitoring its impact on the morning train services.
I have a map here of the area where a lot of the work is taking place for the upgrade to Newbury. So where you have POS and then 150, 158, that's where the work's being done. POS means under possession, and 150, 158 are the sort of code numbers for the work being done. And because of this happening, all the trains that usually would go through that area are either replaced by bus services, which is a phrase that no one really likes to hear, or they're being diverted with a different departure time. Quite a stressful morning for the morning commuters.
Over at Newbury, commuters are feeling the full effect of the line closures.
They've been advertising for the last couple of months. It's replacement buses between now and Thursday. Friday, we're back to normal.
But even the best laid plans don't always go smoothly.
You said wait here. Yeah. I know, but my boss was sat there. You said, oh no, it's not there yet. Wait here. No, it's already gone. I'm late for work now.
From what I've been speaking to my colleagues, we've had maybe half a dozen saying they didn't know. But apart from that, most people knew where to go, what times to be here and stuff like that. We've tried to get as much communication out as possible. It's a commuter town, so there's tons and tons of people going in towards London.
At Paddington...
Yeah, but we have an alternate timetable because we have engineering works.
Okay. Customer Ambassador Natalie Greenwood is doing her best to keep customers on the move.
Everyone's just a bit frustrated at the moment because they're missing their trains. Come this side.
Maybe late, yeah?
No, we're going to get it. 9:27 you're going to get, yeah? I'm going to take you to the help desk and get them to print it for you. If possible. Can you print that for me? Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, so your train's on platform 1, now you're going to make it, OK? Yeah. This way, yeah.
"60 miles away at Newbury, Stephen Jones is managing the first stage of the electrification project, erecting the structures that will support the overhead cables.
What we're doing here is putting up a basic mast. This is one of the more longer structures to install due to the fact we've got brackets to put on and a strut. So the chair is what they've got up there. That would be one half. They've got another half to go on. So when the two sides are on, that's what supports the weight of the boom, which goes from one structure to the other, which allows to carry the weight of the wires. We're over halfway. We're about 2/3 of the way through it now. It's a bit stressful with teams working day and night.
I just want to lock these two together.
Yeah, mate.
One's a bit tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's also stressful at Paddington, where the altered timetable is still causing confusion.
For all of our customers, it's going to be a bit of a hiccup. So everybody will be questioning and querying as to what on earth's going on, where are we going, why is this new timetable in place, and how much longer it's going to be.
All right, I'm not sure which platform yet. So if you keep an eye on the board, when it's ready, they'll board the number.
I haven't travelled down to Penzance. I don't normally use the train. This is the first time, and I'm doing it on my own. So I'm a little bit apprehensive.
Penzance. 11:27 is the next one. I've had people ask about the trains that have been diverted. The trains are running earlier than it should be. So 10:35 instead of 11:03, 11:27 Penzance instead of 12:03. So that's quite a shock for them because they expect to come for a train, and then you've been told, no, it's been slightly altered.
Back on the lines outside Newbury, engineer Andrew Lonsdale is beginning the next stage of the process. As each new mast goes up, he can begin attaching the overhead cable.
This is the ZEC unit of the wiring train. So what we've got here, we're paying out 2 wires in tandem. This is about 1,300 metres. We're running out the solid copper contact wire and the stranded catenary wire. The SIC here, that's a single insulated cantilever. This is going to support the wire. So Mick will be catching this round, pull it towards us in the basket. There we go, got it round. So we'll now connect the catenary wire into the clamp. That will be tightened up. That'll be everything secure then. Okay. Yeah. After that, we'll connect the registration arm onto the contact wire. Once that's secure, we'll then move on.
The contact wire will carry 25,000 volts to power the electric trains. But none of that will happen if the engineering teams don't meet their strict deadlines.
Come 04:55 Friday morning, this route will be handed back in a fit state, ready to start running passenger service. If we didn't give the line back on Friday, it would cause major issues. A delay to the train service, I think you'd pretty much mess the whole route up. We've got to get it back. We can't keep it.
The engineers are working hard to hand back the lines on time, but unplanned disruptions are never far away.
That's right, yeah. That's not been established yet.
At route control in Swindon, news is coming in about a serious incident.
They're on there at the moment, yeah. He's just, what they've said to me, he's been unresponsive for 30 minutes.
A passenger has been taken seriously ill on a train from Paddington that is now arriving at Reading.
Been taken ill at Reading. Paramedics, BTP, everybody's on site who should be on site. The paramedics are doing the best they can.
Reading Station is one of the busiest stations on the network and an important hub station for Paddington.
BTP have asked, can we close platforms 10 and 11 so that they have no footfall?
Closing 2 platforms will have a major impact on the train service.
Just how damaging would it be if we shut platform 11 and 12? Just tell them to do it. Yeah.
Rail staff at Reading are clearly dealing with more than an ill passenger. It's turning into a major medical emergency.
There was an elderly person who was taken ill on a train. Obviously, this is the first station at which the train can be stopped to allow some help to be given to him. And unfortunately, very sadly, paramedics were unable to do anything more than initial help, and he has passed away. Very shaken, a little bit upset. It's not every day you come to work and a situation like this develops immediately. It's very, very sad. And we'll stay here and we'll make sure that the public stay as far away as they can.
Yep.
And hopefully the gentleman can leave with a little bit more dignity than he arrived.
Sure, exactly, yeah.
We've got to wait for the coroner to come, and then we'll have to wait for the undertakers. And then we'll have to arrange a way of removing the body that nobody can see from any of the other platforms. So I should imagine they'll put a screen around it until they remove the person.
For the moment, platforms 10 and 11 at Reading, a busy hub for Paddington, are closed. But at route control, they're used to reacting to the unexpected and balancing passenger well-being with the need to get the train service up and running again.
Unfortunately, we have to keep trains running around it. Because that's what we're here to do, run trains.
We're probably looking at 10 to 20 trains having to have been rediverted elsewhere.
As the death isn't considered suspicious, the train is allowed to leave.
So we'll run the train empty to Bristol Temple Meads, and then we'll make a decision as to whether the train, if it's fit for service, we'll be able to run it in passenger service back towards London Paddington. It's something that doesn't happen too often, but I'd probably say within the 11 years that I've been working for Great Western that it's probably happened about 3 or 4 times where a person has died on a train service.
It's been a sad day, mate.
All right,
yeah,
sad day.
Cheers.
All right.
At Newbury Station, the platforms are deserted for a different reason. While works to modernise the network carry on, a bus replacement service is in operation.
There's no trains today, and then we've got nothing till Friday now. Which is the Thatcham bus, do we know?
It's not here, 709.
But the road is no substitute for the rail.
So normally I get the train and it takes about 15 minutes to get to Reading, so this takes about an hour and 10 minutes. So yeah, it's quite a big hassle for the beginning and end of the day.
Obviously it's not really convenient. I dread the weeks when there's a bus replacement.
They're not consistent enough, the buses aren't. They're not as consistent as the trains are. The trains are a pain as they are, sort of, enough. To be honest, they don't really let you know when the buses are actually going to be. Like, every time it's on Monday, I keep missing it, so I'm always late to work.
Down the line from the station, work is continuing on the installation of overhead cables as part of the electrification of the rail network. Today they're installing the droppers, the short wires that will support the overhead cable that provides power to the train. And it's a fiddly business.
We've got the guy sorting them out in order because the droppers will sort of determine your wire height, which the pantograph runs on, so everything's got to be millimetre perfect to the correct height and stagger.
Once everything is in place, it's time to winch the cable to a specific tension, dependent on the air temperature and the length of the wire.
See the needle spinning round on the drum, slowly, and there's a chart around the edge of the drum. So when you pull that needle out to where it needs to be on that chart, that's when you connect it all up together. It's quite hard work pulling that up. Takes a little bit of doing. Donkey work.
That'll do it. Pay the man.
That spring's now loaded to the correct setting. We're pretty much wrapped up now. Everything seems to have gone to plan well today. Yeah, happy with the progress so far and quite confident we'll get everything completed.
But at Paddington, it's not running quite so smoothly.
A lot of our ticket machines being refurbished, replaced, so it's causing us a few issues with people buying tickets. And it's just all gone a bit busy and manic, and we can't find the person who operates machines, and they seem to be dropping out one by one.
This one is absolutely terrible.
Anybody collecting tickets, you can travel with your reference number this morning.
So that's good enough?
Yeah, that's perfect. And obviously we don't want our customers to be annoyed or angry at us.
Thank you. I'll let you through the gate. I'll let you through the gate. She's gone to the gates to go through to her train because her train's leaving in 7 minutes and it's not printed half of her ticket, so she's only got the half coming back. I'm going to open this one for you. Let me just open it for you. So she's upset. There you go.
Hell, absolute hell on earth. This place is inefficient. There's absolutely no customer service. They give you information over the tannoy. I responded to that and they went, oh no, you can't do that. You've got to go back and get another ticket. It's just a night. And so I am livid. That's not a great way to start a day.
It has been a long morning because everyone's just a bit annoyed. And when they're annoyed, they get frustrated and their temper's like that.
Further down the line, project manager Caroline Saunders is overseeing another vital part of the electrification work between Newbury and Reading.
We're at Aldermaston Station. This is a station that falls in the middle of the area that is closed at the moment. We have a number of stations that the platforms are not long enough to accommodate the trains.
The new electric trains are slightly longer than the current fleet, and at Aldermaston, the southbound platform needs to be extended by 25 metres.
The plan today is going to be install the piles for the new platform extension. The two guys in the orange there are just setting out the pile positions. We've got a 75mm tolerance on the pile, so they have to be set up very accurately and have to be going exactly where required.
Beams will sit on top of the pile foundations, and then the platform slabs, which are made off-site, will sit on top.
This is quite a lot of disruption, and we do recognise that that's very disruptive to the passengers, but our hope is that this is very much a short-term pain for long-term gain.
This is what the multi-billion-pound electrification of the network is all about. A new generation of electric trains that are lighter, more environmentally friendly and faster.
What I do like about these is the take off speed. They just zoom out. These are so quiet to what I'm used to.
The long-distance intercity express trains have been in service for over 6 months.
Early again. Yeah, ever since I've been driving these, I've been arriving in stations 3 to 4 minutes earlier.
Lines are currently electrified from London to Didcot.
I think it's roughly about £1 million a mile it costs to put this infrastructure in.
But once the overhead line works at Newbury are completed, trains will be able to travel even further westwards under electric power. Until then, electric trains are having to turn to diesel to finish their journey.
I'll be dropping the pantograph and starting the engines up. And then we'll be running on 6 diesel engines all the way then to Swansea.
Bridge Stroke Kingway.
Kingway?
Yeah.
On the railway, unplanned disruption is never far away.
There's a lorry that's gone through it and parked down the road, so he's got some visual damage to his vehicle.
Mobile Operations Manager Peter Kidd is dispatched to investigate. And it's not the first time this particular bridge has been hit.
Right, off to Paddington, Kingway Bridge, which after White House Bridge in Swindon is probably the most struck bridge that we've got in the Swindon area. Basically, we just go there, check the structure of the bridge to make sure that everything is still intact, that it haven't caused any problems for the trains with the rails. It can offset the tracks slightly if it's hit hard enough. Police officer friends. Coming down the main road to the bridge, this is what we found with the lorry here. So the police are here and they're now interviewing the driver. It's not unusual with these ones, so they just seem to ignore the height signs in their vehicles and decide they're going to get under the bridges, and they don't always manage it. All right, can I just get a picture of your height sign, please, mate, if that's all right? Height sign is 14 foot, which is exactly what the bridge is. We seem to get an awful lot of it. They just think they can get under it, because a lot of bridges do have a little bit of leeway, but not all of them, and they get caught out.
Any serious damage to the bridge could result in train delays and cancellations.
What we're generally looking for is anything that's nice and shiny, because that'll be new damage. I'm not worried about the protection beam at all, it's just the bridge that we're looking for any damage. That does look like the new one there. But there's nothing whatsoever on the main bridge, so it's done its job. That's what it's there for.
Almost 2,000 railway bridges are hit by lorries every year. Luckily, the steel beam on this bridge has prevented any damage to the infrastructure itself.
Oh, a second, so there's Pete Kids from the mum. Right, Kingway Bridge. Yeah, not bad, mate. Yeah, Kingway Bridge. Just inspected it, everything looks okay. Looks like the protection beams have done their job on it. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Where are you going? Ready?
At Paddington, the ticket machine issue has been resolved. But now, BTP officer Al Gore is dealing with a different sort of ticketing problem.
So we've had reports from a train manager that we have a train coming into Paddington station with 2 people who are currently refusing to buy a ticket. We've also been told that they apparently may have a ticket from Cardiff to Newport, so if that's the case, maybe they bought the cheapest possible ticket so they can get through the barriers, then go on the train.
Al and his colleagues are hoping to intercept the suspects as they disembark.
Apparently they are in the back set, so where me and Smithy are. Just trying to work out where Coach B is at the moment.
Minutes later, they track them down.
Have we got the tickets?
No, we told the lady. She said when we get here.
It's confused with the lady who's taking the purchase.
Right.
Shall we forward it to London and Miss give us a ticket to Cardiff?
Officer Gore isn't convinced.
So you didn't find it strange that £4.40 was just a single...
No,
we're not covering to London? OK.
The last time a ticket from Cardiff to London cost £4.40 was 1974.
What's your current ticket at the moment?
Willing to pay and everything, but...
Why didn't you do that on board the train?
Sorry?
Why didn't you do that on board the train?
Do what?
Pay for a ticket on the train?
Oh, I am going to money to pay for a ticket.
Right. So how are you going to pay for it here then? It doesn't work like that, sir. It's fare evasion.
Fare evasion?
Yeah, yes.
Travelling about means no one needs to pay for your ticket.
Fare evasion is estimated to cost the railway industry around £240 million a year, and it's a criminal offence. But if the men agree to pay for their journey to London, they will avoid prosecution.
So you can pay for it an extra ticket, yeah?
I can pay, yeah.
And pay for the gentleman as well?
Yeah.
With the deal done, the men accompany Officer Gore to the ticket office. But not before chancing their luck one more time.
Not on the bike. You push the bike. You start doing that, and the bike will come off you, and you'll be nicked.
Oh, I didn't know, can they?
They bought tickets Cardiff to Newport. They obviously need the difference here. Live and learn, yeah?
Yeah.
Surprised to see us. I don't think they've realised that police have been called. They've been charged £157 and a few pence. That's for 2 returns. £157 does sound quite a lot of money. But good news is they've paid it, so the railway's got the money, we've got no offences. Happy days.
If they'd have booked the 2 returns in advance, it would only have cost them £76. With the overhead lines work completed and the Newbury blockade over, Paddington can get back to its regular schedule, which includes the weekly fire alarm test.
Yeah, based to all station radios. We're going to test our evac message in a moment. You will hear a message about evacuating. Please ignore this message, it's a test only.
With 100,000 passengers passing through the station each day, these tests are a crucial safety measure.
Due to a reported emergency, all passengers must leave the station immediately.
Passenger announcement for all passengers and staff in the station. We just completed our weekly fire alarm test and our weekly evacuation message test.
That's it. That's fire testing for another week.
But it's not just the fire alarms that need to be checked. In the tunnels beneath Paddington, Shift Station Manager Kevin Noon is carrying out a regular inspection of the station's infrastructure and fire safety measures.
Now this is pretty bad. This fire escape that should always be clear, but thanks, mate. Coming towards underneath platform 6 and 7. You can just see above you there. You can see where we are.
The tunnels are hundreds of metres long, and old ticket windows are evidence that before the war, they used to provide public access directly to the platforms. But it isn't the only thing these tunnels have been used for.
Looks like there could have been police cells or something. Probably hold people in here. Pretty basic. You can see a trough running down the middle, on the floor there. Do whatever they've got to do, I guess. But there's quite a few posters around as well, which is unusual. I think that some of them are dated from the 1950s. Football Monthly, April 1956. Pretty noisy as well, isn't it? The train goes over.
There's also evidence of another more recently discontinued function. 2 conveyor belts, which used to transport passengers' luggage onto the trains to Heathrow.
The bags had come along here and gone to the Heathrow Express. It used to be in operation until probably about 10 years ago.
Today, it's home to fire safety features such as the station's sprinkler system.
Put in probably about 2 or 3 years ago. It was quite an impressive setup, I think.
But the tunnels also house much of the station's electrical equipment. If a fire started here, it could spread within seconds. So Kevin is looking for any exposed gaps that flames and smoke could pass through.
That's a really good example of somewhere that needs to be looked at pretty quickly. It wouldn't hold back fire, probably wouldn't hold back at all because it just goes straight through.
While Kevin continues his inspection below ground, above him in the control room, Graham Parker is dealing with a real fire emergency.
You make your way over to Wasabi. We have a fire alarm activation in Wasabi, one of our restaurants in the station. Hang on a moment.
A smoke detector has gone off, and this in turn has activated the station fire alarm.
It's a device which is very close to where they cook, so good chance that it's just come from that.
The alarm triggers a countdown clock, which means in just 6 minutes, the station will be automatically evacuated.
I turned the alarm off to the crowd, so it's not worrying anybody out there. I've got the cameras on in the area, there's no one panicking, and I've sent a member of staff over there.
But time is starting to run out.
As you see, it's 2 minutes and 40 now, and that's how long we've got until the station will automatically go into evacuation.
Luckily, a few seconds later, station staff identify the cause of the problem. And it's nothing more than a flash in the pan.
Base to Alpha 2. Go ahead.
Apparently they burnt tofu in the microwave.
One of our network rail staff has told us it's actually burnt tofu that has set off the fire alarm. Super burnt tofu. I'm going to isolate that device so it means that it won't activate again, at least for the meantime.
Dinner may be ruined, but after recent worrying and unplanned events, this time, fortunately, there's no cause for alarm.
This clock has gone back to 6 minutes, which means it's all good, it's totally reset. And that device is isolated, meaning that it will not go off again. When it comes to the fire alarm, you need to be totally calm and cool, being that if it goes into evacuation, you think of the hundreds of people, or sometimes thousands that are on the station at one time. You don't want to cause panic among those people, so we don't want any panic. All calm.